What is up, crawler fans, RC enthusiasts, and social media surfers? I'm your boy Josh with TEXOMA RC, and today we're checking out a freaking awesome EVOlite Slayer. We got the MOFO 44s, dude. Oh my gosh, look at these bad boys. And of course, your boy Josh went ahead and chopped them up. Look at this. Wow, look at them go. That is not the way they come from the factory. You're going to need to modify your steering link or run the one that I made for it. And look at that beautiful little diff skid in the front. And check out the new universal diff skid. Works for Mias and the MOFO 44s. Look at the bad boy. Speaking of looking at, wow, look at the new rears. These are the new 84 millimeter rears. They are actually my rear steer rears. That's why I made them, but I thought they looked rad, and it's just a good length. We're coming in right at 160 millimeters. So this is another RTR going out to my boy and team driver Keone, who is also Team Exo Caged. Thanks for sharing with me, Joe. I do appreciate you sharing your buddy with me, and I sure do appreciate you, Keone, for swooping this brand new build from me. I was loving it for all of like an hour before he said, "Hey, that's my new rig." So there you go. Anyways, let's put him on the rocks. Let's go run him around real quick before we box him up and get him out of here. All right, look at him. Man, I hope you guys are doing good. Off to a good start. Good week. Here we go. Man, these MOFO 44s are something else, bro. I've been loving the Mias axles for a good while now. I still love the Mias axles. However, these MOFO 44s are absolutely the shiznit. Just feel like grip. That's what happens. What happens when you tell it's doing good?
Let's
You're
go,
gonna flip off
dude.
the hill. You're gonna do something stupid. That's just what happens. That was just a mistake. The old driver mod failure came detached. I don't know what happened, dude. I made a mistake. This rig is absolutely phenomenal. We're breaking a lot of rules compared to how we started a long time ago. We're at 160 millimeters. The thing is jacked up in the air. We got all of the clearance. Watch, we'll show it off. And then we have these freaking huge tires for the wheelbase. It's a 70 millimeter cut and shut. It's about 71 almost. The 3-lug V-pin cut and shuts. If you want to know how to do that, go back. I showed how. Tips and tricks with Tex. We did a video a couple weeks ago showing off how to build the wheels. So, and also we also did show how to do the cut and shuts, where they come from, all these type of things. If you got questions, holler at your boy. There will be information in the description. So, man, I hope that you guys are just freaking killing it. If you do, dude, like and subscribe, dude, if you haven't already. Look at this thing. Savagery, dude. Obviously, it's not just that it can go places. We've done these things before. But watch the control. Like that, it is unprecedented, bro. Like, it's it. So right now we're hung up on that rear diff skid. It is a monster. One thing that happens when you go to a large tire, it gives you a lot more leverage over the rig. So tire bite becomes something you really have to be careful with. So I'm trying to break that stupid thing free. We just have the tire walking up underneath. You know, it's an undercut, so that's what's going on. We didn't quite make it spin out. Maybe we can get it later. It was a great fight. It was a great fight. Come on, guy. Push it. So, the other day, unfortunately, I did have a pin slip out of the U-joint on my MOFO 44s, which are absolutely awesome. But the pin did slip out. I did catch it. I saw it. I was like, it was hanging up. I just put the rig down. I was like, oh, shoot. So I stopped. I grabbed it and picked it up. I saw. So I went to put my radio down. Hit the trigger, zing! There went the pin. So fortunately, I had another set of axles. I went ahead and pulled that out, and I'll get it worked out with MOFO to get it fixed. Dadgummit. So I've been running the Mias axles for a good time. Like I said, I do love my Mias axles, but sometimes I knew they had a lot of steering throw. Like, obviously I knew that, but I didn't realize how much it actually is until I drove this. You know, I knew that it had a lot of slop. I know that it's like more than double the rear axle. However, I didn't realize how much that was affecting me until I drove this. So, again, I love the rig. It has a great place. These axles were $150. And the Mias axles are $90 or cheaper. So obviously, it's a pretty good chunk step up, right? So basically, what I've learned is that the Mias axle probably needs to be run as narrow as you can. So 0 hubs, 2 at the very max. You can run 4 and 6 millimeter hubs with the Mias axle, but the elbow is already tremendous. For example, I will have to show this off, but I don't have another rig. I don't have a MOFO axle set up. I will show this up the next time I get a rig built. Come on, fight it. But next time I have a MOFO axle rig built, I will show the scrub difference. This rig has 6 millimeter hubs. And with the 6 millimeter hubs, it gives just like the perfect elbow. If you just watch, there's so many like little things that if I actually was paying attention and could talk about them, little just amazing repositions, exactly what I wanted. So freaking good. So with 0 millimeter hubs, I had set the 2 rigs on the wall, the front axles on the ground, they're leaning up with the rear tires up on the wall, and the Mias axle with 0 millimeter hubs rotated over a minimum of 5, could be almost 10 degrees farther rotated over, the rear end that is, clocked over, as compared to the MOFO 44s with 6 millimeter hubs. Right? So that's to show the difference, and I will again have to explain all of this. I hope some of you guys at least are following along what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about those scrub and the 2 axles in comparison, the Mias versus the MOFO 44s. The MOFO 44 is going to be just like a stock axle, but wider. The Mias is going to give you the same width, but it gives you more scrub. The wider the hub that you use, the more wheel scrub that you are going to have. The more that it will clock your rear end around on your turn. So, that's what we're trying to show. Anyway, so go farther than that. We have the slop in the front axle. If you didn't know, the way that the isokinetic works is the internal shaft moves in and out, and it creates a lot more slop than a normal typical axle. That is why I found out that I have been suggesting micro crawl in all of my cars. Watch this pull out though right here. Absolutely freaking savage, dude, that I'm running these gates. I ran them the other way. That was the first time I ran them backwards, so we pretty much freaking killed it, dude. I would have just scored perfect on the run. Dude. 3 gates. Heck yeah, dude.
It's too good.
Killer in the middle of a video. We weren't even trying, dude. Caught him on the fence. That. Nice job, dude. Nice job. So we actually only had one rip till you flip. We only had one flip over at the end of the video. This was a true, look at this save, dog. Yep. Grab on one tire is so sick, dude. Oh my gosh, dude. These things are savage. I love, that's what happens when you say it's savage. You flip it over. You just watch it. Don't tell it it's doing good because it flips it over every time, even when you're watching it on video, dude. It's crazy. That's all right. We fixed it again. Like I said, we only had one flip to roof, dude. Only one flip that we could not fix. Check out the turning radius on the guy, dude. Insanity at 160 millimeter rig, bro. So we're just trying to push up in here. I have no set route. It's my rocks. I know where, things are, and I think I want to try, but it's not necessarily something that is possible with this rig or that I've achieved or anything like that. It's just something that, I know where it is and I know where we're going and what I'm going to try to do with it. And that's what we're doing. So right here, typically what's going to happen is I'm going to diff out in the rear, and it's going to drag up. Then the bottom right rear tire will go into bind, and it's going to want to flip me back over the hill. That's typically what happens when you come across here from this situation.
Come on.
Is that what's going to happen? So we got our diff cleared. That's another one of those positions right there. We just lifted it up enough. We're pushing it over. Come on, guy. Top left tire's going into bite now with the diff skid. Come on, bud. Come on, bud. You could do it. So we diff lifted to spin out, dude. So sick. Let's go. Didn't make the trick, but we didn't catch our diff and get hung up. By the way, straight up the pooper right there is definitely super slick. You typically have to take it off to the left-hand side, like I did. We're driving a little bit aggressive for my normal deal, but when you find out that it was the axle that was stopping you from being aggressive, back to what I was saying earlier on the Mias axle, I've been saying that to go micro crawl, right? If you just go into micro crawl, it will pull out, it will make it, right? So what I have found and what my guess is, the extra slop in the front axle. If you are pulling your trigger too much and the tires are slipping, what is going to happen is the rear tires will continue to engage for the most part, but the front tires will go spin and then they will stop and they will grip and then they will spin and stop and grip. Instead of a continuous motion, they have a stop, and then when the gear catches up to it, it rips the traction that you do have, right? So the more you pull the trigger and the more you slip, the more it's going to bounce off the gear like a rev limiter, kick the tire to spin. It will bounce to the front of the gear, it will stop, and it will sit there, and then it will do and repeat the process. And so it's constantly just disengaging itself because it has so much slop. That's what's happening. So the Mias axles are going to be something that I continue to support. I love my Mias axle. I love driving with elbow, but at the same time, it's freaking hard, especially with that much. This is like the perfect freaking elbow you could ever ask for. And so anyways, and speaking of axles, while we're at it, I have the Super 8s finally ordered. I have them coming. I will have parts being made for them, and we will talk about all of these axles. I got to sit down and really put down all of this information so that people understand. So just real quick on information, I do have a build video that I need to do. I just really have a bunch of video from along through the build of just showing where the pictures are that I'm going to have to narrate over most of it. I have to be really thoughtful on what I say, and then also I just included like these links. I just want to try to say the right things and not have stuff in there that's outdated is kind of the issue, which is why I put this video in front. So I apologize to the guys who are waiting for that video. I've just been incredibly slammed, and I want to make sure that I'm saying the right things. So last week we got these pieces worked out, and then this week we're going to work out the Super 8s as well as starting on the TRX. So TRX should be back in another week or so, 2 weeks. TRX will be back, and by the end of the week we will have Super 8s, MOFO 44s, and the Mias aluminum and nylon parts. I drew the nylon parts. So I had to use a nylon rear axle, a nylon front axle in the rear on my rear steer rig. I made knuckles for that, and doing that, swapping to a nylon rear with the PETG knuckles that I made, we only lost about 1% of our bias. I thought that was pretty freaking rad. So anyway, stay tuned for that. I will be showing all that stuff off. We have all new axle parts for every axle. They've all been redesigned. And there will come in, they're basically matching in across the spectrum. Everybody has the same looking thing. It will be again for Mias aluminum, Mias nylon, MOFO 44s, and Super 8s. So basically that should also cover any of the other axles out there. We just got to put them on and try it and just make sure which one of those will work. Pretty much should have it covered for the rest of the axles on the market. So I'm trying something right here. This is not something that I don't know that I've ever actually made this coming from the bottom. Typically, to make this all the way to the top here, you have to come from off to the camera left, right? The rear end should be clocked around like 20 to 30 degrees, coming across the end of that chop, where the log is chopped down and it goes into the hole before we start going out on the one that juts across. So that's what's going on. It's just, if I had rear steer, I could position the rear axle, but coming up that way, there's just there's so much traction that it's incredibly hard with the diff catches and everything to get your rear end in the correct place to be able to go up right there. So again, normally I would just come from the other direction. Me at the top. So this guy's not quite as big as some of the other ones, and just be able to roll it easily But that just shows that you have to be tall enough to ride the ride, if you know what I mean. If you can't reach, you can't freaking reach. So the trick is here, you have to be able to push across the little line there, across the little layer line, like it's real rock. It's not actually a layer. I just put that in there, dude, to make it freaking hard, make it look cool. But as you can see, if we just lip pass, we still can't hardly reach the top. It's just too quite tall. But we pull over to the side. We freaking got it, dude. And normally that would be the end. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just excited to keep driving this rig. So we would have pulled up over there. I almost said, you know, thanks, folks, and whatever. But I realized, oh, yeah, that's right. We kept going a little bit. So we're just going to do a little side hill action. Come down the side there. Looking freaking savage. Man, stay tuned. I do have so much going on. There's just parts and stuff and whatever. And I got to do more YouTube videos. I know, I'm sorry, dude. I'm doing my best to get all this stuff done and try to keep up with orders and not fall too. That was savagery. Bro, 70 millimeter tires. Guy, are you freaking kidding me? 70 millimeter tires on a 160 wheelbase, bro. Savagery. Savagery. Spin them up, get them hot. This is one right here. You just have to be in the correct. You have to have the correct wheelbase to be able to make it all the way to the top. We could potentially fight it and whatever. We're just giving it a trigger pulls go. See what happens. So, but man, I sure do appreciate you, dudes. I thank you for watching. Stay tuned for all the new stuff. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Check us out, dude. You know what to do. Rip till you flip.